Look at the man in the smoke. A farmer last spring, standing in a wall of fire. History forgot his name. He is winning a country. This is not about generals or founders. It is about the farmers, apprentices, and boys who actually fought, and what 8 years would cost them. It begins at a farmhouse door. You kiss your wife, lift the children once, and walk away from a crop you may never live to harvest. On the village green, they muster farmers, apprentices, free and enslaved men, boys of 15. Ordinary Americans with old muskets and a dangerous new idea. At night, you crowd a fire with 5 or 6 men, sharing one kettle and one ration, strangers in spring who are brothers by autumn. They put a musket in your hands, heavier than any tool you've held, a smoothbore that cannot aim, with a foot of bayonet at the muzzle. You drill the loading, bite the cartridge, prime, pour, ram, and fire on command, shoulder to shoulder, 2 or 3 rounds a minute. A Prussian drillmaster curses you into shape on the parade ground, turning farmers into soldiers. Half of you have no proper coat. Many have no shoes. From behind a stone wall, you fire into a column of redcoats on the road, and the war stops being an argument. On a hill above the harbor, you hold your fire. Then the whole line fires at once, and the green slope vanishes in smoke. The powder runs out before the courage does. You give up the hill, carrying your wounded, and you understand, this war will be long. Another season, an open field. 2 armies walk toward each other in plain sight, drums beating, colors flying, and nobody runs. Fire. The whole line vanishes in white smoke, the sound a blow to the chest. You reload before you can think. The enemy cannon find your line. Canister sides the air, a lane opens in the ranks, and still the order is close up, hold. Fix bayonets. A foot of steel rattles onto the muzzles, and the line steps off together into the smoke at the guns. A man you marched 100 miles with goes down at your elbow. No time to mourn. The smoke takes him, you keep loading. Far to the north, a whole British army is surrounded and forced to lay down its arms, and France, at last, joins the war. But victory still has to be survived. Through a killing winter, the army that lived builds a whole city of log huts on a frozen hillside. There is no bread. You bake firecake, flour and water, grey on a stone, and in the worst camps, men gnaw bark and shoe leather. Half the camp has no shoes. Their officers wrote that you could trace the army's march by the blood its bare feet left on the frozen road. But the real enemy this winter is not the British. It is fever and dysentery in the crowded huts, and it kills one man in 6. The women of the army hold it together, cooking, washing, nursing the dying. Some take their husband's place at the guns and are maimed for it. Your pay is paper worth nothing. Unpaid and starving, whole regiments shoulder arms and march off to demand justice, yet refuse to betray the cause. Years later, the roads lead south to a river town, where the whole war has come down to one siege. You dig in the dark. Then the great guns open. All night, French and American shells climb the dark like red stars and fall inside the town. The ground shakes. One night, they choose you for the storming party. Flints out, muskets unloaded, bayonets only, for silence. You wait for the signal. You go in silence across the open ground, through the tangle of felled trees and down into the ditch beneath the wall. You climb the wall with bare hands and blade. Over the top it is close and dark, and in minutes the redoubt is yours. This time, it is the end. A whole army marches out between your ragged ranks and the white-coated French and lays its arms down in a field. But first, you bury your own in long, shallow trenches, no names, no stones. Most of the men who won this were never written down. Spare a thought for the men in the prison ships. Far more Americans likely died in those hulks than fell in all the war's battles. When it is over, you walk home, unpaid, in rags, leaning on your musket, sent off, as one soldier wrote, like an old, worn-out horse. Remember the man in the smoke. No statue keeps his name, but the country itself is his monument. The republic these ordinary people built, still holding.